Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, the Glammed Rebel. I hope everyone's having a good day. Please like, comment, and subscribe for daily updates. The bold and the beautiful. Steffy's European escape turns to tragedy. Reese Buckingham's shadow returns, and Luna's shocking survival. A calm before the storm. For Steffy Forrester, the cobblestone streets of Brussels were supposed to be the answer. A reprieve from the chaos. A sanctuary far from the tangled web of Los Angeles drama. The Forrester co-CEO had been teetering on the edge of emotional collapse after a relentless wave of turmoil. Luna's gun incident that nearly cost her life, Liam's shocking and later proven fake, brain tumor diagnosis, and Finn's all-consuming investigation into Grace Buckingham's questionable medical practices. Hayes and Kelly deserved to see the world, Steffy had told her father, Ridge, in a moment of exhaustion before the trip. I need to remember what really matters, being their mother. It wasn't an impulsive getaway. Steffy meticulously planned the European journey, seeing it as both a gift to her children and a way to rediscover herself. Hayes, a wide-eyed toddler, and Kelly, a curious, adventurous little girl, would get to experience the charm of Belgium, and Steffy would get a break from constantly defending her marriage and running Forrester Creations. The joy of Brussels. The first few days were a postcard come to life. Steffy shared smiling photos online, Kelly sampling her first bite of authentic Belgian chocolate, and Hayes giggling as he spotted bright saxophone statues scattered across the city, all against the backdrop of the majestic Grand Place. Steffy even allowed herself to relax. No phone calls from the office, no tense conversations with Finn about Sheila or hospital investigations. Just the three of them, exploring medieval streets and ornate palaces, indulging in waffles and frites, and feeling like a family untouched by the constant churn of scandal. It was during these days that followers noticed something different about Steffy's social media posts. Her smile looked real again. The shadows in her eyes seemed to fade. This was the Steffy Forrester who once loved life with abandon, before fear became a constant companion. The final day, on their last morning in Belgium, Steffy made a small, sentimental decision. They would squeeze in one more site before their flight, the Magritte Museum. Kelly was excited about paintings with clouds in them, while Hayes babbled happily in his car seat. Their driver, Pierre, a friendly Belgian man with 2 decades behind the wheel, was telling the children stories about magical creatures from local folklore. Steffy listened with a quiet smile, glancing at her kids in the rearview mirror, imprinting the moment in her mind. When the world shattered. At the intersection of Rue d'Ansert and Boulevard Ansbach, everything changed. Security footage later revealed the nightmare in grainy clarity. A delivery truck, its driver glancing down at his phone, barreled through a red light at full speed. Pierre's instinctive attempt to brake was futile. The truck slammed into the taxi with bone-shattering force, spinning it across the intersection and into the side of a historic building. Witnesses described the sound as like metal screaming. Glass exploded onto the pavement. The city's morning bustle turned into chaos. Emergency responders arrived in minutes, but their grim faces told the truth before the words did. The loss. Hayes, secured in his car seat behind his mother, had taken the full brunt of the collision. The 2-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. Kelly, who had been pointing out landmarks moments earlier, suffered catastrophic internal injuries and died en route to the hospital despite desperate resuscitation efforts. Steffy survived barely. Multiple fractures, internal bleeding, and a traumatic brain injury left her in critical condition at St. Luke University Hospital. She didn't know and couldn't know that both of her children were gone. The call that changed everything. Back in Los Angeles, Finn was in his office reviewing patient files when his phone rang. The unfamiliar European number gave him pause, but something in his gut made him answer. Dr. Finnegan, this is Dr. Elizabeth Morrow from St. Luke University Hospital in Brussels. The words that followed, car accident, critical condition, children deceased, crashed into him with the force of a physical blow. His phone clattered to the floor. Colleagues rushed to his side as he sank against the wall. Sobbing openly, the composed, methodical doctor gone in an instant. The race to Brussels. Within hours, Finn was on a plane, the hours stretching into an eternity. He replayed memories over and over. Hayes's first steps, Kelly calling him Daddy without hesitation, their giggles during bedtime stories. Meanwhile, Ridge and Taylor dropped everything to join him, united in their grief. Even with decades of experience as a psychiatrist, Taylor struggled to find words that could prepare anyone for what they would face. The vigil, the ICU waiting room at St. Luke's, became a quiet epicenter of grief. Finn sat in his scrubs, head bowed, unmoving except for the occasional glance toward the hallway whenever a doctor walked by. Dr. M.O. finally approached after what felt like a lifetime. Steffi's condition had stabilized, but her brain injury was severe. "The next 72 hours are critical," she warned gently. At Steffi's bedside, Finn took her bandaged hand, speaking to her in whispers she couldn't hear. In the corner sat 2 clear plastic bags, Hayes's beloved stuffed elephant and Kelly's small purse filled with colorful stones from their trip. The other storm brewing, Grace's confession. While the Forrester family clung to hope in Brussels, another scandal was exploding in LA. Finn's investigation into Liam's miraculous recovery from a supposedly terminal brain tumor had led him to Grace Buckingham. In a tearful, breaking confession, Grace admitted she had fabricated Liam's diagnosis, falsified scans, staged surgery, to raise $1 million to pay off dangerous loan sharks tied to her ex-husband, Reese Buckingham's gambling debts. The men had threatened her daughters, Zoe and Paris. "I didn't do it for me," Grace whispered. "I did it to keep them alive." The Reese factor. For longtime viewers, the name Reese Buckingham still dripped with venom. This was the man who had kidnapped Hope Logan's newborn daughter, Beth, and sold her on the black market to cover his gambling losses. He had walked away from LA with barely any real punishment, and now his shadow had returned to poison lives once again. Speculation swirled. Could this be the moment B&B finally brings Reese back to face justice? Imagine the explosive confrontations. Bill Spencer's fury, Liam's righteous rage, and Hope's raw, emotional condemnation. Grace, villain or victim. Grace's actions were indefensible, yet her motives clouded the situation. She hadn't pocketed the money for luxury. It had gone straight to dangerous men. Her desperation painted her as both perpetrator and tragic pawn in Reese's endless cycle of destruction. Whether the medical board would see her as a criminal or a mother backed into a corner was anyone's guess. Luna's secret survival. Meanwhile, across town, a shocking truth was hidden in plain sight. Luna, thought to be gone after her violent run-in with Steffy, was alive, tucked away in a discreet apartment under the care of Lee Finnegan. Lee, convinced that Luna had not received the stable life she deserved, decided to nurse her back to health. The space was outfitted with medical supplies, monitoring devices, and the quiet dedication of a woman working in secrecy. Sheila Carter smells an opportunity. If there's one thing Sheila Carter can't resist, it's leverage. Whispers suggest she could stumble onto Lee's secret, maybe through overheard hospital gossip or a hacked security feed, and use Luna's survival as her ultimate bargaining chip. Sheila's potential playbook is already taking shape in fans' imaginations, positioning herself as the truth teller to Finn, staging a shock reunion and subtly eroding Lee's influence while painting herself as the family savior. Ripple effects. Bold and the beautiful landscape is on the verge of a seismic shift due to this web of tragedy and deception. Shared grief may bring Ridge and Taylor together. Liam could spiral into destructive guilt and anger over Kelly's death. Hope may find herself torn between compassion for Liam and her own painful memories of Reese's crimes. Bill Spencer might launch a personal war to drag Reese back to LA. Sheila could use the chaos to wedge herself closer to Finn. The cliffhanger. As Steffi lies unconscious in Brussels, unaware her children are gone, Finn sits vigil, caught between a present defined by grief and a future clouded by secrets, vengeance, and manipulation. Somewhere, perhaps in a seedy European casino or hiding in plain sight, Reese Buckingham lives on borrowed time. In the bold and the beautiful, no secret remains buried forever. Feel free to share any video requests in the comments. I'll try to make a video about it. Stay connected with the Glammed Rebel for all the latest updates, spoilers, and deep dive recaps. See you in the next video. Stay safe and healthy. May God keep you safe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell button for daily updates.